Tomorrow you will find blood on your office window. On his first visit, a patient named Marx told Dr. Ellen Voss something that made no sense. She wrote it down as a metaphor. Patients said strange things. But the next morning, there was blood on her office window, exactly as the patient said. 3 floors up, on the outside of glass. By the time maintenance arrived to clean it, it was gone. Blood? The janitor said. "There's nothing here, doctor. There was never anything here." But only Ellen had seen it. Ellen's office sat on the 3rd floor of a converted brownstone in Providence, Rhode Island. Soft lighting, a wall clock above the door, the kind of room built to make people feel nothing bad could happen inside it. Marx had been referred by a colleague who never quite remembered making the referral. Ellen didn't think much of it. Paperwork got lost. She glanced at the wall clock as he sat down, and the time was 3:59. "Tell me what brought you here," she asked. Marx looked at her for a long moment. "Tomorrow you will find blood on your office window." She wrote it down. He said nothing else that day. Out of habit, she had recorded the session the way she recorded all new intakes. That night, she played it back to check her notes. Her voice was there asking her questions, but his voice wasn't. Not one word, just 49 minutes of her talking to a silence that answered anyway. Every session started the same way. Marx entered. He said, "Good afternoon." Same tone, same half-second pause before the smile. Ellen barely noticed. She was too busy listening for what came next. Week 2, the clock still read 3:59 when he sat down. But the shocking thing was that when he left, the time was still 3:59. 50 minutes later, she assumed it was broken. She had it replaced. The new one read 3:59 too. That week's recording had her voice, and beneath it, faint but unmistakable, the squeak of a second chair shifting weight, a chair no one else was sitting in. Week 3, he told her she would cut her hand on a broken glass at 6 p.m. The next day, she didn't own a glass that could break that way. By 6:04, she did, and it had. That week's recording had a whisper just before his first word, 2 syllables, too soft to make out in a voice that wasn't hers and wasn't his. Week 4, the recorder simply stopped. The timestamp showed it cutting off at the exact second Marx walked through her door, and resuming the exact second he left. 49 minutes gone from the file. 49 minutes she remembered living. Week 5, she checked the recording before the session even began and found 41 seconds of audio already on it. her own voice, asking a question she hadn't asked yet. She wouldn't ask it for another 6 minutes. Week 6, she didn't press record at all. She left the recorder off on purpose to see what would happen. When she checked it that night, there was a full session on the file anyway. It was next Tuesday's appointment, word for word, a conversation that hadn't happened yet. "This isn't our first Tuesday." Mark said it without looking up, like it cost him nothing, like he had said it to her hundreds of times before, in hundreds of rooms she couldn't remember. The next morning, before her first session, Ellen went looking for Mark's file. Intake forms, insurance records, anything with his name on it. There was nothing. No marks anywhere in 6 weeks of paperwork. She opened the appointment book to that day's 4 o'clock. One name was written on it. Ellen Voss, 4 p.m. She almost laughed. For one impossible second, she wondered whether she had ever been the doctor at all. Maybe Marx had never existed. Maybe she had invented him. Maybe she had invented herself. Then the office phone rang. "Doctor, we have just checked in your 4 o'clock. It was reception's voice. Ellen's mouth went dry. "There is no 4 o'clock. I am the 4 o'clock. A pause on the line, longer than it should have been. "Marx is here." Ellen turned slowly. Someone was already sitting in the chair. Marx folded his hands exactly the way he always had, perfectly still, like someone posing for a photograph that had already been taken. Marx said, "You have always asked me who I am, but you have never liked the answer." Ellen looked at the wall clock. The time was 3:59. Her watch, 3:59. Her phone, 3:59. The computer on her desk, 3:59. Marx watched her without blinking, and he said, "It never reads 4 until you remember." Every Tuesday for 6 weeks, Marx had walked through that door and said the same 2 words, in the same tone, with the same half-second pause before the same smile. Ellen had never once wondered why. She had been too busy listening for what came after. Only then did she understand. Good afternoon wasn't a greeting. It was a ritual. Ellen opened her mouth. The room waited. Slowly, almost without realizing it, she folded her hands exactly the way Marx always had. Then she smiled. The same half-second pause. The same smile. "Good afternoon," she said. Marx smiled for the first time and said, "You are closer."